Hi, dear community. Thank you so much for finding time and tune to this very, very special teaching, Limud. I can't even tell you how exciting I am to share this information with you. I don't think there's anything more powerful was, given by creation in the sense of simple prayer, which is can take us to such a next level. And I'm gonna put I put for you guys in very simple way information together. And before I continue, I will let Michael Burke to give you a consciousness about the prayer called Ana Bekoach, which is in other terms it can be called a prayer of 42 letters. And it's really, there's so much information about this through the centuries from tzaddikim. But again, I will simplify for you. But before we let Michael Burke speak, I just want us kind of to look and observe. This is what we're going to talk about. This is what Michael is going to discuss and give us some more consciousness about these most amazing prayers, which is really the Ana Bekoach can help us to rise above limitation of this physical world. It will affect our consciousness internally and outer. And using this power, we use in our mouth, right? Our mouth, it's super powerful, and we create an energy in angels with our words. And there's three type of energy we're connecting from the mouth. The breathing, when we breathe, it comes from the energy Binah, from the tree of life reality. And if you study Kabbalah, you know what I'm talking about. But if you watch my channel a few times, I do discuss 10 Sfirot, tree of life reality. So when we breathe, we connect to energy of Binah. Our voice, its manifestation of energy called Zeranpin, is the highest of the all realms. And our speech connect to energy of Malchut. So it's like a kiss in the soul with what coming really from our mouth. Really depends how we use in our mouth. And we can do, with our mouth, we can blow shofar and activate energy from the higher realms. We are feeding the energy on negativity when we're wasting our words and we're saying not right words. We create a negative energy, right? The negative angels. And or with the words we create, we elevate other people, or we can really diminish other person. It says the highest level of killing, it's when you embarrass somebody else in front of somebody, or even in general embarrass. It's one of the highest negativity, right? I'm going to tell you the secrets from Maria Kadosh on a physical level, how to do Ana Bekoach. And I'm looking forward to speak with you right away after Michael Burke.
To the world that the story of the Torah, the story of the Bible, is not a historical story, but rather these are revelations and teachings and tools each individual person needs. So when we come to the story of the journeys, and we know, and again, you have to appreciate what the Rav did for us, the fact that when I say the number 42, everybody who's a student, I'm assuming, almost anybody who's a student of the center automatically knows that there's 42 letter name of the Creator, which is what makes up the prayer of the Ana Bekoach. That is something that, again, the world really certainly was not aware of before the Rav, even though this, of course, this name has been around for thousands of years. The tool of the Ana Bekoach has been around for thousands of years. 42 journeys. That's the story of this week's portion. The Kabbalists teach, as we mentioned last year, that the 42 journeys represent every one of us individually. Each one of us throughout our lives has 42 stations that we go through. Some of them are short and some of them are long. And sometimes even if you look back on your life, you can realize, oh, that was one journey. Even now, journey doesn't necessarily mean you're going from one place to the other, but it means that was a chapter. There's 42 chapters in every person's lives. Every person. Some of them are long, some of them are short. Some of them are successful, some of them are unsuccessful. But 42 is that number. And the 42 letter name, the Abag, of course, I'm sure most of us know this, but when we refer to the 42 letter name, we're not referring to the prayer of the connection of the Ana Bekoach, which is the way we use it, but the acronym, the Abag Yatatz, Kara Satan, Nagad Yakash, those 42 letters that are the foundation of the Ana B'Koach. So when we understand that this week's portion is, for me, for you, it's about the 42 journeys of our life. More importantly, how do we make them what they're meant to be? If you ask yourself the question, or you ask the question about the world, how many people have 42 successful journeys in their lives? That number is not very high. So this week's portion is how to make every chapter of your life, every journey, every one of the 42 journeys that you are on. Again, some of them might be a week long, some of them might be a year long, some of them might be a decade long. But how do you make your journey, your 42 journeys that you are going to go through, successful? Everybody goes through 42 journeys. Not everybody is successful in the 42 journeys. The answer is simple. The answer is very, very simple. The answer is the 42 letters. Now, I know that many of us, again, have been using the Ana B'Koach for many years. Unfortunately, I have to tell you that I believe most of us haven't even begun to be successful in using the Ana B'Koach. Because if you understand these 42 letters, the energy within them, if you're able to connect to them, they are the singular tool to make your 42 journeys in life, the 42 chapters of your life, successful. And the Rav told us this, but I always wonder when people hear big secrets. Certainly when we hear big secrets, the worst part is that we think we understand them. And if I asked any one of our students, the thousands of students gathering here today, to connect to the energy of the Shabbat, do you use the Ana B'Koach? Most of us would say yes. And then if I would ask, is it working for you? Most of us would probably say yes. Well, that's great, but the reality is it's not even coming close to do for you what it can and needs to do for you. Needs to do for you. We mentioned last year that this is a name that before the connection of Rabbi Nechuneh ben Akana, what we call the Ana B'Koach, was only given over very carefully from one person to the next. It was a secret name. What that means is not, maybe other people knew the acronyms, the letters, but to be connected to the energy within it, very, very few. So this Shabbat, so the 42, to be clear, the way, the tool, the singular tool to make my journey in life, my 42 chapters of my life and your life to be successful, you have to have the tool of the 42 letter name. More important than knowing it, again, like I said, fortunately, unfortunately, I'm not sure which word I would use. We all know it, and we all also think that we're using it. We're not even coming close. The gift of this Shabbat, and that's why this Shabbat is so important, separate from anything we're going to share, is the fact that I am going to receive, and you are going to receive, the gift of connection in a deeper way to these 42 letters. And the deeper your connection to the energy of these 42 letters, the more powerful, the more successful, the more elevated each one of your 42 journeys in life are going to be. And that's the purpose of the Shabbat. Anything I'm going to share now is only so that I and you and all of us collectively can begin using the 42 letter name in ways that we've never done before. We've never done before. The Kabbalists teach that when the 42 letter name is revealed, and revealed doesn't mean, again, the knowledge of it or even the uttering of it, but when enough people are connected to the internal energy of these 42 letters, the redemption occurs. The end of pain, suffering, and death occurs. This is the name of elevation. This is the name of redemption. This is the name of success. This is the name of successful life. So that's what we want to ask for on this Shabbat. How do I gain a deeper connection to the most important tool, to the 42 letters that can elevate me, that can make my life's journeys successful? So I'd like to begin with a teaching from a great Kabbalist. He was referring to how consciousness influences action. Because what we're going to speak about, and maybe we've already spoke about some things that for many of us we would think, that's beyond where I am at. But unless you begin your consciousness in the highest place possible, even though you know you're not there yet, if your desire at the highest place possible, which I want for me and for you, what do I want us to ask on this Shabbat? I want to be able to use this 42 letter name in its most ultimate state, which means that I will be able to bring elevation to every part of my life's journeys. I will be able to bring the light of the redemption into this world, even though I know that I'm probably going to fail throughout even this day as I think about it. You have to start high. Unless you start high, then there's almost nothing that we can do. So he says the following. He's talking about consciousness. When you wake up in the morning, what should your desire be? And if it's an honest desire, he says your desire should be, and basic, but how many of us actually even have this thought every day? I want every second of this day, my consciousness to be connected to the light of the Creator. Every second, I don't want there to be 1 second today where I'm disconnected from the light of the Creator, neither in consciousness, certainly not in action. He says, he asked the question, but most of us know, great, we can have that thought in the morning. What's the point when I know, every one of us can attest to the fact that there's going to be at least 1, if not 100, if not 1,000 times throughout this day, that my consciousness is going to be disconnected. I'm going to get angry, I'm going to get disappointed, I'm going to get fearful, and so on and so forth. So he says, you have to wake up every morning and ask, לקבל על עצמו להיות מיוחד להשם יתברך כרצונו, עד שלא יהיה נשכח ממנו אפילו רגע. You have to wake up in the morning and your desire, your request needs to be that I need to be connected every second of this day to the light of the Creator, not 1 second separated. אף שיודע האדם כי איננו במדרגה זו, even though you know that you're not yet at that level, that every second you can be connected, מכל מקום הקבלה והרצון צריך להיות על הצד הטוב ביותר. If you are desiring it, your desire and your request in the morning is as powerful and complete as it can be, זה מועיל שיוכל לעשות דבר מה על כל פנים. If you wake up with a perfect and awaken a perfect desire, a complete desire, then at least you'll be able to do something throughout the day. This is, again, and as I was thinking, this is a concept that really you can speak about for hours because it's so fundamental and important. We often think, I'll only think about awakened consciousness, desire to do what is within a realm, even if I'm shooting high, right? A realm of my ultimate possibility. But what he's saying here is something different. You have to start in a place that is 1,000 times higher than where you actually are. And only if you start in a place that's thousands of degrees higher from where you are, then you'll be able to do something today. But if you woke up this morning and your desire is, your request is, I want, what was yesterday? I was connected 20% of the day. I was conscious 15% of the day. Today I want to be 35% conscious. I want to be 35% connected to the light of the Creator. What's going to happen, Chas v'Shalom, he says, is that a person can wind up 0 moments connected to the light of the Creator. If the desire and the awakening and the consciousness is beyond you, then you'll be able to do something. If your desire, your consciousness, your request is where you're at, Chas v'Shalom, a person can wind up doing nothing. It's very important, and again, this is true for many, many, many parts of our spiritual lives, and now we're going to speak about how it relates to the 42-letter name. When you wake up in this morning, and I'm assuming, B'ezrat Hashem, that we've all taken the Rav's directive at least once, if not 3 times, if not 10 times a day, as we will come to see maybe every moment of the day, being connected to the Ana B'Koach. But your consciousness of it, what can the Ana B'Koach, ask yourself, did you even ask yourself the question? You know, again, that's the danger of becoming rote spiritual, even spiritually rote, doing the things. Do you even ask yourself before you say the Ana B'Koach, what is it going to do for me today? No, you just know, oh, the Rav said, my teacher said, I heard that the 40-letter is powerful. Oh, it's a good connection for me to make today. That's not what we're talking about. And again, the problem is that then we'll miss the opportunity of what it can actually do. If you wake up in the morning and you say, this connection to the 42 letters is going to maintain my connection to the light of the Creator 100%. Everything I do is going to be successful today. Every blessing that is possible for me, I'm going to receive today. Every moment of this day is going to be completely elevated. Then, and only then, can you actually have the Ana B'Koach do something for you today. But if you wake up in the morning and you say, oh yeah, it's a nice blessing. It's a powerful blessing. I'm doing a connection. I'm going to use these 42 letters and, you know, hopefully something will happen. If you start with something, you get to nothing. You start with everything in your consciousness, you can get to something. It's a very important idea. So therefore, what I'd like to do now is share 2 or 3 awakenings, teachings, secrets around the 42-letter name so that our consciousness can go higher about it, so that it actually begins Because again, as I mentioned this last year, but B'ezrat Hashem, until the final redemption, B'ezrat Hashem will remind ourselves that if you, forget about any prayer you do, forget about any meditation that you do, forget about, if you are able to really connect to the internal energy of these 42 letters combination, you can do anything. 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 But we have to elevate our consciousness. So, 2 weeks ago in Parashat Pinchas, and I'm assuming and hoping most of our friends were connected with us or at least saw the recording of the teachings, which are very important. We spoke about the fact that every single one of us has thousands and thousands of angels every single morning ready to help us. Ready to help us. And B'ezrat Hashem, if we have the merit, throughout the day we see, I didn't do this, but it happened. This problem, I didn't even take care of it, it happened. And unless we access those thousands of angels every single day, and I'm doing it, you're doing it, very little we can do. So we spoke about the fact that every single morning, there's thousands and thousands of angels waiting to do my work for today. And one of the conversations that I had with students, and we spoke a little bit, again, during class, how you access them, but now it becomes very clear what we're talking about. There's a verse in Psalms. It says, Rechev Elokim, speaking about the light of the Creator, how it's revealed in this world. Ribotayim alfei shin'an. There's thousands and thousands of angels that surround the light of the Creator. Adonai bam. That's the words in the verse. The Creator is there. Adonai bam. So thousands and thousands of angels, and the Creator is there. And the Kabbalists teach that the word bam, which is translated as within them or in the middle of them, is the numerical value 42. And what that's telling us is that the way to activate my angels today to do my work for me, to make me elevate, to make me be successful, is through Dana B'Koch. Through Dana B'Koch. Hashem bam. That the thousands of angels are waiting for what? They're waiting for the directive that comes from my connection to the 42 letters. Again, to be clear, if I connect to the 42 letter combination, its internal energy, I don't have to do anything all day. My angels will be taking care of my problems, will be making my success, and so on and so forth. Hashem bam. That's the secret of that verse. And then, as we said, how do we awaken? How do we create the perfect day? I send my angels. How do I send my angels? Those energies, that the thousands and thousands of energy. Again, I hope it's clear to us the danger of not grabbing this opportunity. As I stand here right now, there are thousands of angels around me. Thousands. Waiting to help me make this day the most elevated, the most powerful. If I don't awaken them, if I don't find the way to access them and send them out, then it's a wasted angel. Thousands, alfei shin'an, thousands of angels that get wasted every single day, thousands of packets of energy. And therefore the purpose of the Dana B'Koch is to awaken my thousands of angels and your thousands of angels to go and do your day for you. Create the perfect day for you. There's a connection that we make every morning, and I always wonder, how many of us, again, it's consciousness, right? How many of us think about it, even those of us who make these connections in the morning, we say, Yehi ratzon milfanecha, we ask the light of the Creator. Shetatzileni hayom hazeh ubechol yom vayom, that you protect me today and every single day. Me'azei panim, from those who are trying to do me harm with their ego. Me'azut panim, that my ego should not overtake me. Me'adam ra, that I should be protected from any negative people. Me'yetzer hara, I should be protected from my own negative inclination. Mechavera, if any of my friends, chas v'shalom, are not positive, are trying to do something wrong to me. Mishachenra, even from somebody around me, near me, who wants to do harm, who's not positive. Mipegara, any type of disease, any type of negative aspects that come into my life, chas v'shalom, I will be protected. Me'ayin I'll be protected from negative negative visions from other people. Milashon hara, I will be protected not to speak negatively, and people won't speak negatively about me. Maybe the last two most important, midin kashe, that today I will protect you from any type of negative judgment, harsh judgment, umibal din kashe, and anybody chas v'shalom who has the ability to do me harm. And you know, I often think about this again, especially for those of us who are doing these connections on a regular basis. I spoke about the Anbakor, I spoke about this request. You really should spend an hour meditating on this. But more importantly, and this is the understanding on this Shabbat, the way to awaken this protection, and you have to have this consciousness, is by awakening the 42 letters. We said before, the 42 letters have at least 2 tasks that they are able to do every single day. One, to activate my angels. Can you imagine how much easier your life will be? How much more successful your life will be if it's not just you living your life, if you are literally being lifted up and supported by thousands of angels. It's there for you. It's there for us. The Ana B'Koch, 42 letters, 42 letters. We mentioned years ago that Joseph would walk throughout the day, and I have to tell you, as I was reading, as I was studying this week, preparing for the Shabbat, I literally found myself, it's not embarrassing, but literally yelling out, that's what you need. That's really what you need to be doing throughout the day. Why? Again, because you understand that these 42 letters awaken your angels. Why do I want to struggle through my life on my own? Why don't I want to be lifted up every single second of every single day through the force of the angels that are mine? 42 letters. The purpose of these 42 letters is to awaken my angels to live with me and to awaken this protection of this connection that we make every morning. From negative people, from negative judgment. The 42 letters have the power to do that. Then there's an idea that might be a little bit deeper, but B'ezrat Hashem will do a well enough job in explaining it. In the Talmud, there's a very interesting discussion. Every once in a while, they speak about tunnels that exist in the world. And again, maybe thousands of years ago, it was a little bit more difficult to understand. Now we know that there are, even in the physical world, known by scientists, these openings in what they call the space-time continuum, that within which time and space don't exist. But thousands of years ago in the Talmud, there were stories about people who would enter into a tunnel and suddenly find themselves in a place that is thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of miles away. They just walk through it. Sometimes there's a story, for instance, that from Babylonia, from Babel, where Iraq, they went into a tunnel, and suddenly they found themselves in the Galilee in Israel. Again, it would take, I don't know how many weeks to walk, but it took them a few seconds to go through the tunnel. And those tunnels exist throughout the world. What's the secret of those stories? And this is so important, so important. And again, our task today is at least to awaken appreciation. You know, I always measure, if it's right or wrong, I'm not sure, you know, how impactful anything that I do, this thing versus that thing, you know, you always have to make choices in life. And as I was preparing for the Shabbat, I was thinking, you know, how many people, even of the thousands of students who are going to be listening, will be as impacted as I would like them to be about the consciousness around the 42 letters. I said, but, you know, but what we said before, my desire maybe B'ezrat Hashem is here, even if this happens, right? Something happens, somebody's consciousness and therefore usage, right? We're not talking about consciousness is the purpose of using the 42 letters. So let's talk about these tunnels. In life, and this really is one of the secrets of this Shabbat, anything and everything that we do can take a lot shorter. Everything. Who said that in order to build a successful business, it's going to take 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you know, however, many people don't, never even after 20 years, right? But who said? That's the world, that's the world. That's the world of time and space that we live in. There's tunnels. There's a way to access, to go quickly from one place to the other. Not 20 years, 1 year, 1 month. And this is true about everything. A person, how many times, unfortunately, you speak to a couple, they're going through a difficult time, and sometimes they give up hope there's any chance of it working, but even if it will, it's going to take so much work, so many years, so many months. Who said? if you're able to access these portals, these tunnels that exist in the world, in a second, you go through the process. In a second, you build. In a second, you're successful. These are the secrets of the tunnels. And therefore, when we talk about the 42 journeys, how long does it have to be? As again, if you read even in the literal story, there are times when the Israelites stayed for years in one place, for days in others, because there are these portals. How do you access the portals? I think by now everybody knows the answer. The 42 letters. The most important part, gift of the 42 letters is being able to access the tunnels of time that shorten every process, even positive processes. Of course, chas v'shalom, negative processes, but even positive processes. This falsehood that we have bought into, that everything has to take its time, is not the spiritual reality. Because the Kabbalists are teaching us, and that's one of the secrets of this Shabbat, how to access those portals in time, those tunnels that take you from one place to the other, that should take you 5 months, take you 1 second. That's maybe the greatest gift of the 42 letters. And as I said before, I really recommend, maybe don't do this in public, right? But we're sharing a few of the secrets of the 42 letters. If you realize what it is, even just begin to get an inkling of what it can do for you, then you go crazy with it. Literally, throughout your day, just keep doing it. And you'll see, I'm telling you, you'll start seeing it's working more for you. Sidan HaBakoach, 1,000 times a day. This is our name. This is our name that takes us, that has the ability to take us quickly from one place to the next. Related to this is a story. There's actually a beautiful, interesting story. Some of you might or might not know. There was a relatively famous writer. His name was Shai Agnon. He actually won the Nobel Prize, and he was a student of Rav Brandwein's. Of course, not as good a student as the Rav, but he also, I'll say he studied. Sometimes you can call somebody a student, sometimes you can say he studied with Rav Brandwein. But he was also a friend and a student of Rav Brandwein. And he wrote a short story. And I do recommend it. It's a very short, it's a 2-pager, and I'll share with you the story, but it's called the Goat, the story of the goat. And this is the story. So this man was living somewhere in Europe. He was not a very wealthy man, and he would make his money from the milk. He had a goat, and he would milk the goat, and he would sell it, he would drink it. So he noticed that every few days his goat would disappear. And when he came back, it was filled with milk, and the milk was like from the Garden of Eden. He could taste it, and everybody who tasted it, they were paying more money for it because it was so beautiful and so tasted the best goat milk you've ever tasted. So he decided, he's talking to his son, he says, I really would like to know where my goat gets lost. And then when it comes back, it has such beautiful milk that really smells and tastes from the Garden of Eden. So the son says, I have an idea. I'll tie a little string around its neck, and I'll hold on, it'll be a long string, and I'll hold on to that. And whenever I see it start moving, I'll follow it. So one day, the son is holding on to the rope, and the goat starts going. He starts following the goat. They walk for maybe, 20, 30 minutes. They enter into a cave. They walk through the cave for maybe a minute or two. Suddenly they come out of the cave. And he sees he's in a place he's never seen before. So there's people walking by on the main road, and he says, where are we? He says, you're in Tzfat, in the north of Israel. So he was all the way in Eastern Europe. And in about 20 minutes time, he's now in Tzfat. And he says to them, I need to get back home. What day is today? They tell him it's a Shabbat, it's Friday, it's Erev Shabbat. Shabbat is starting in a few minutes. You don't have time to, wherever you're coming from, you have no time to get back there. So the son's debating, my father's going to worry about me if I'm not back, but I'm here, it's before Shabbat, I don't have time to go back into the cave. So what he did is he wrote a note to his father. He says, I can't tell you how, but follow the goat, and you will both find me, and you will see the secret. He puts the note in the goat's ear, assuming that when the goat comes to his father, the father will shake it, and the note will come out. The goat goes back in the tunnel. It knew the secret, right? The animals know the secret of the 42 letters. Goes into the tunnel, comes out the other side, and the father sees the goat without his son. And he realized, or thought, that something terrible had happened to his son, and that's why the goat came back by itself. And he gets so upset, He realized his son is dead, and he's so upset. And he says, I can't even look at this goat anymore. And he slaughters the goat. After they slaughter the goat, he finds the shochet, the slaughterer, brings back the note that he found in the goat's ear. And he brings it to the father. The father reads the goat. And he realizes that his son is alive, but that his only way to see his son was through the goat that is now dead. And now he'll never see his son again. What's the secret of the story? So many times in life, those portals are ready for us. But because we see something that scares us, that upsets us, we go away from the tunnel, thinking that this is saving us from some pain, this is saving us from some upset, when in reality, this was the portal to bring us in a second to the elevation, to the success that we needed, that we wanted. This is the 42 letters. How to not miss the portals. You know, sometimes in life we feel we're struggling, and sometimes in life we feel we're being successful. Sometimes in life we're somewhere in the middle. Sometimes in a day you go through all three of those levels. Without accessing the internal energy of the 42 letters, everything's taking longer. We're missing so many opportunities, and our angels aren't working for us. That's the gift of the Shabbat, and you have to realize, you know, sometimes people think about the spiritual work or the spiritual study, you know, I'm getting there, I'm doing the work, I see, you know, I'm changing this, I'm changing that. It's all nice. But again, it's something, but without accessing the 42, the energy, the power, the 42 letters, you're nowhere near where you can be, where you need to be. I said I would strongly, strongly recommend for every single one of our students, again, maybe do this in the privacy of your own home, if people will understand it, start yelling the 42 letters. Start yelling Dana B'Koch again and again and again and again throughout the day. Why? As we said, it awakens the angels that we need to do our day for us. It awakens the angels that we need to awaken the protection that we need throughout the day. It gives us the ability, and maybe most importantly, to walk through the portals that shorten the duration of processes, positive and chas v'shalom, those that are challenging. It gives us the ability not to be blinded to the portals once they open up to us, because maybe it's upsetting or maybe it's disappointing and so on and so forth.
Welcome back, guys. So we're going to go on the practical level, how to work with Ana B'Koch. Now, as you can see, we have 7 lines, and 7 lines correspondent to different sphere of tree of life reality. The first line represents to line of Chesed, second line Gvura, third line Tiferet, fourth line Netzach, fifth line Hod, sixth line Yesod, and 7 line Malchut. And before I'm going to explain more depth how the technical we need to do, especially first thing in the morning, I'm going to show you how to pronounce, because this prayer you can do many times during the day again, and as I mentioned, and you just need to learn really how to pronounce. One of the deepest secret I want to share with you is the secret from Arya Kadosh, from one of his books of Etz HaChaim, of Tree of Life Reality. He explains that every time when we start to do Ana B'Koch, we need to imagine that we do have an angel standing behind us with the beautiful white wings, and we have the first set. We need to stop 3 times for each line. So first time we said, and we stop with the 2 sets of names, right? So the way how it's done, the first set, Ana B'Koch, we need to imagine an angel covering our eyes. The second set, Gedulat Yaminecha, we need to imagine an angel covering our feet. The third line, Tatir Tzerura, we need to imagine an angel covering our body. So in a nutshell, we need to understand every time, because we need to create the 3 stoppers for each line. Okay, no worries. It sounds maybe complicated, especially for those of you who listen to this first time. But if you're doing this on a daily basis, you know what I'm talking about. So, but I do want to cover for everyone, for newcomers, and for those of you guys who's been practicing this on a daily basis. And I do want hopefully to bring something new to the table for you, for what you're already doing. Now, another very, very important thing we need to remember, if you guys doing morning prayers, we call them brachot shachar, make sure you finish Shema before you're going to do Ana B'Koch. This is the recommendation by Ariya Kadosh. He recommend always do Ana B'Koch after Shema, almost like to prepare the platform before you're going to do Ana B'Koch. So the way how we're going to work now, let me first pronounce all 7 sfirot, all 7 Tikkun HaNefesh, Ana B'Koch, lines, and then I will explain to you more technical how it's done in the morning. Okay, so we're going to start again. Remember, we are making 3 stoppers for each line. The first stopper we're going to use to cover our angel covering our eyes, the second stopper angel covering our feet, and the third stopper angel covering our body. Now you can see we have the abbreviation of each line. Ariya Kadosh recommend to pronounce them 3 times after each line. So, and each time you pronounce, when you pronounce first time, you imagine you covering your right column energy. The second time, it's left column energy on your body. And the third time, the center column energy, okay? So just follow me, try, and you always can stop and listen again my explanation. But now I'm going to do without stopper, so you can use this part of the video, you'll remember the time, just for you to practice how to pronounce. And if you want to do this prayer anytime during the day, it's unlimited time you can do this prayer. Okay, the only thing, you don't need to do the angel of the day and tikkun nefesh many times, but special angels of the day you're going to do only once a day. And I'm going to show you, we're going to continue, we're going to study how to use tikkun nefesh with the letters, with the monthly letters, how to meditate on the tree of life reality. It's to connect to each part of our body. And then after the Anak Pekoch, we're going to connect to the angels of the day. And please, guys, if you want the copy, the PDF files, you can send us email, and my assistant Angela will send you the good copy of the PDF forms so you can have. And I want to thank Kabbalah Center for putting this together. You can find this information nowadays on many different websites if you really want. But I do believe, I know, first organization was really provide such a deep and tremendous important information to humanity, no matter what your background, no matter what religious you practice, spirituality, it's for everyone. It's definitely my teacher Rav Burke, his teacher Rav Bradwine, and the teacher of his teacher Rav Ashlag. These giants really simplify such amazing, tremendous knowledge. You don't need to be Talmudic student in order to study and practice. This is for everyone, any soul who have a desire to expand, to connect to the light of Creator, to become the Creator in this limited reality. This is one of the most powerful tools you can imagine to have in your, on your hands any second you need. Okay, so let's start. Ana Bekoch, Gidulat Yaminecha, Tatir Tzrura, Alef Bet Gimel Yud Tav Tzadik, Alef Bet Gimel Yud Tav Tzadik, Alef Bet Gimel Yud Tav Tzadik. Second line, Gvora. Kabel Rinat, Amecha Sagvenu, Taharenu Nora, Kufresh Ayin Set Nenun, Kufresh Ayin Set Nenun, Kufresh Ayin Set Nenun. Tiferet, Na Gibor, Dorshei Yachudecha, Kivavat Shamrem, Nun Gimendalit Yud Kafshin, Nun Gimendalit Yud Kafshin, Nun Gimendalit Yud Kafshin. Netzach, Barchem Taharem, Rachamei Tzitadecha, Tamid Gamlem, Betet Resh Tzaddik Tav Gimel, Betet Resh Tzaddik Tav Gimel, Betet Resh Tzaddik Tav Gimel. Hot, Chasin Kadosh, Berov Tovcha, Nahel Adetacha, Chet Kuf Bet Tet Nunayin, Chet Kuf Bet Tet Nunayin, Chet Kuf Bet Tet Nunayin. Yesod, Yachid Ge'eh, Le'amcha Penei, Zochrei Kedushtecha, Yud Gimel Lamed Pei Zayin Kuf, Yud Gimel Lamed Pei Zayin Kuf, Yud Gimel Lamed Pei Zayin Kuf. Malchut, Shevatenu Kabel, Ushma Tza'aktenu, Yudei Talumot, Shin Kuf Vav Tzadik Yutav, Shin Kuf Vav Tzadik Yutav, Shin Kuf Vav Tzadik Yutav. Last line, we pronounce silent. But I'm going to pronounce silently as well. You still can hear it, but this particular line, to complete this energy, we pronounce, you can see it's reading as well in English. Baruch Shem Kavod Melchato Leolam Va'ed. Beautiful. So I will give you example. For example, today it's Tuesday, and we in the month of Betula. Okay, so you can see here we have a line which is represent different months, and let us create this month. Okay, so right now we're in the month of Elul, and we have two letters, Resh Yud. Next month we're going to have Tishrei, the month of Libra, and we're going to have Pei Lamed. Okay, so every time when you see we have new months, I always will pronounce for you the Hebrew new months. I'm not referring to the direct sky this moment. In direct sky, we have a different months right now, but the moon Kabbalistic calendar, we're right now in the month of Elul, and we have two letters, which is Reish and Yud. Now, why it's important to remember that? Because Reish and Yud, this is the energetical force. It can help us to work on this particular sign to overcome certain tikkun, certain corrections, certain negative traits and activate positive traits of this sign, which is really important sign, especially is the time of Yomei Tshuva. So the way how it works, today we have Tuesday. So Tuesday, it's correspondent to the third line, because we start from the sign from the Sunday. Sunday represent first Chesed, Monday represent Gvura, Tuesday represent Tiferet, Wednesday represent Netzach, Thursday represent Hod, Friday represent Yesod, and Shabbat, Saturday represent Malchut. So we need to do two stoppers when we do on a Bekoch, again, only in the morning. When you do during the day, you don't need to do those to stop to look at the angels and to look the Ana Bekoch. You only need to do this in the morning, right away after you finish morning prayers. Or if you don't do your morning prayers, you do your own meditation. You can complete with Ana Bekoch. Okay, so let's go over here and look. Let's see what we have here. Here we have extremely powerful combination. Now our eyes is the window for our soul. So with our eyes in the right consciousness, we can rebuild our body. We can reactivate and change on the molecular cells level anything we want. This is how powerful we are. So what we need to do in this sense, when I mentioned we in Tuesday, this is right now important to know because of the angels of the Tuesday. So now we have angels, and this is the angels of the Tuesday. So what we do when we do Ana Bekoch, we have to stop on the day we do Ana Bekoch. So today I'm doing Ana Bekoch during the Tuesday. So I stop. I usually, when I do Ana Bekoch, I do first line, second line, and then after I complete third line, I have to go to angels of the day. We do not pronounce angels of the day. We only scan them, and we scan them from right to left, okay, with our beautiful eyes, which is only see good and only take the good, right? Okay, and then we do with our eyes just scan the angels of the day, which is Tuesday. Then we're back again. Now you can see over here, Reish Yud, it's represent different line as well, right? Because each month represent different line. You can see number 6. So what you have to do, you have to continue. You start on a Bekoch, You stop on Tuesday just to observe the angels. You continue until 6. And then when you get to the 6, you complete 6 line, and then you take in Ration Yud, because Ration Yud represent line number 6. You go into the Tikkun Nefesh. Again, you're going to have these papers in front of you. So remember how they look like, Resh and Yud. You coming back to Tikkun Nefesh. You take in your right hand, right, the hand of sharing and receiving, and you imagine that inside of your hand you have like a sun, like a ball of energy, of the golden energy from the superior, and you put those two letters, Resh and Yud, inside of the sun you're holding in your right hand. Then you take in your hand and you direct to the scalp, and you observe with your beautiful eyes the combination of Yud K Vav K. Then you take in the same energy ball with letters Resh Yud. You observe your right brain. Then you go into your left brain. Then you go into your eyes. You look at this combination. Then you go into your left eye. Then you go into your nostrils. You go into right and left. Then you go into your ears, and then you so on. Then you continue with your right hand. You inject with this energy, with this ball you have inside of your hand, with Resh Yud, your mouth. Then you go in, you see you have a numbers, then you go into 11, you observing with your hand and with your mind, right arm, then left arm. Then you have for the whole body, Yud Ke Vav Ke. Then you have your right, then you have left leg, then you have production organs, very, very important. And then you have a malchut, your feet. Okay, so this is another very, very powerful. And if you know anyone who needs your support, who's need healing, emotional healing, physical healing, you actually can as well do this meditation and imagine this other person in front of you, and you're going to send the other person healing other people. It's extremely important to use this powerful energy to send the positive energy to other people, and not just the people who you have a good relationship, even people who you're in conflict, or you want to create new opening, new conversation. You start to do this meditation, positive meditation to the other person. You will be amazed when the soul, when soul communicate with each other, it's totally completely different energy. And then you will see how the beautiful outcome. Okay. So, and then when you complete this line and you complete the Tikkun Nefesh, you continue with the last line, and you remember this last line, the 7 line out loud, and then the last line, Baruch Shem, you do not pronounce out loud, you have to say silently. Okay, so this is basically in a nutshell the Ana B'Koach. But really, really important for us to understand, we need to really, when you start to do Ana B'Koach, you need to imagine all the support you have from your ancestral lineage, all the support you have from the righteous souls. And when we pronounce, when we do this meditation, we're sending tremendous energy, cosmic energy. And this is how we change the world. We change ourselves, and this is how we change the world. Okay, guys? So my, my prayers always going to all of you and to the world. And I really wish for all of us so much blessings, and to be prepare for our journey. Especially, I'm doing this class right now before Rosh Hashanah, and I did this actually for the day and night before day of creation. So, I dedicate this, this limut to all the righteous souls, to everyone who came before us and did so much work. So it's going to be a little bit easy for us. Okay, I send you much love and all the best. Bye-bye.